hyperthyroidism, so that means you have an overactive thyroid, or hypothyroidism, underactive thyroid. So basically your thyroid organ is producing either too much of thyroid hormones or too little of thyroid hormones. That can actually affect premature ejaculation. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to another exciting episode of Pillow Talk with Dr. O. You already know, yeah. And today we're going to continue from where we stopped last week, right? We're still on the matter of premature ejaculations and reasons why men have premature ejaculation. You know, last week we discussed and we talked about psychological causes. So we talked about stress, we talked about anxiety, we talked about depression, we talked about fear of failure, we talked about your partner, right? If you're having issues with your partner in your current relationship and all that. So those are all the psychological things that can cause premature ejaculation. Like I said before, psychological means it's all in your mind, right? There's nothing wrong with you physically. There's nothing wrong with your reproductive system. It just has to do with your mind, which you have to work on, right? And any issues bothering you, you just have to deal with it, right? So if you missed it, please go back to that video and watch it. I'm going to link it somewhere down below or on the screen at the end of this video. So make sure you watch that, okay? So for today, we're going to talk about the biological causes, right? And the biological causes means that there is something wrong with your reproductive system, or it has to do with your hormones, or something is wrong, right? So you might have thought about like everything psychological. I've checked, I'm not depressed, I'm not anxious, I don't have fear of failure, I'm not guilty because I'm not cheating, I'm okay with my body, I think I look great. You know, you have checked everything and you're like, nothing is wrong with me psychologically, I'm not worried about it, I'm okay, I'm fine. You know, one of the psychological things I forgot to mention is when you and your partner are having issues, sometimes, especially for those that have the acquired premature ejaculation, maybe with prior relationships they were good, nothing was wrong, but you just notice that with this relationship or with this partner, right, you are constantly facing that problem. It might be that you guys have issues that you need to solve, right, that is just affecting you psychologically. So you might want to look into that. Anyway, back to biological factors. So these ones affect less percentage of men. They're less common, but they do exist. So when you tick all psychological boxes and you feel like, nah, I don't fit in here, there's nothing wrong with me psychologically, then you might want to look into the biological factors. So this is where you need to be diagnosed by a doctor, because sometimes abnormal hormone levels can cause this, right? And I think that can cause this is something that we call inflammation, right, in your prostate, on your urethra. So your prostate gland is a male, is only found in men, right? You can't find it in women, right? And this actually plays a large role in you ejaculating semen and all that, right? So if there's an inflammation there, or in the urethra, the passage through which the semen is going to pass through, you can actually have the problem of premature ejaculation. Some people have just inherited traits. So inherited traits means that you got it, you inherited it like from your family line, right? You could have inherited it from your father or your great grandfather, or that kind of thing, right? So if you have ticked all the other boxes and you don't fit there, it might be that maybe your father struggled with the same problem, or your great grandfather did, or something along those lines there. Another biological cause can be if there is a problem with your prostate or your urethra. So if there's something that we call an inflammation, right, that can actually lead to premature ejaculation. So inflammation can happen if there is any form of infection or anything like that. So in that case, you just need to speak with your doctor. Another thing can be if you have thyroid problems. So if you have hyperthyroidism, so that means you have an overactive thyroid, or hypothyroidism, underactive thyroid. So basically your thyroid organ is producing either too much of thyroid hormones or too little of thyroid hormones. That can actually affect premature ejaculation. And also there is some hypothesis that the level of serotonin, which is a hormone in the body, right, can actually affect your ejaculation time. So basically it's like the more serotonin you have in your body, the longer time that you can last in bed, or the longer it takes before you ejaculate, and the less serotonin you have, the shorter time it takes before you ejaculate or before you orgasm, right? So that's also how hormonal issues come into play when we talk about premature ejaculation. I don't want to talk too much about this because it doesn't affect too many men. So you just need to speak to your doctor to get the proper diagnosis, to know what exactly is the cause. Like I said, when you know the cause of the problem, then that's half of the problem solved, because then we're going to be able to find a solution to whatever that cause is. So let me know, have you been able to think about it? Are you affected by any psychological factors, or do you think that you've ticked all the boxes there and none of them applies to you, and maybe you might have a biological factor? Do you think you need to see a doctor? Do you think you need to work with your partner? Have you actually tried working with your partner on this before? How was it for you? Was it a struggle? Was your partner supportive? Let me know. Those that had supportive partners, did that actually help? Did it make you feel better? Was your problem actually solved on the long run? Remember I said patience. Patience is very important. You need to be patient. You need to take it easy because Rome was not built in a day. So this is not going to change overnight. You need to invest time and you need to work with a supportive partner. And trust me, you're going to get through this. Always remember your sexual health and well-being is equally as important as your general health and well-being. See you next week.